I identify as queer, and like it took me long to come on terms with my identity, and yeah, so like starting from the very beginning of my life when I was in I would say sixth standard, and yeah, so I've had like before these issues with sexuality, I've had issues with gender, particularly like how everything is like, even the clothing for example is gendered, and like how the way you behave, that is also gendered, like being a man, born man, you have to act in a certain way, behave in a certain way, especially when you are in public. Like I've had major gender problems, not like problems with my sexuality, because that though I can repress it, like I could, but yeah, but like in gender, like how you want to dress up, for example, how you want to carry yourself. That was a like bigger problem for me, because I never wanted to wear like what these shirts and pants what are meant for like guys. So, yeah, I've always wore like kurta even in my college, even before that.
In Delhi, or at least the people where we study at JNU, they're relatively more open-minded than the rest of the people in perhaps the whole of India. A lot of people face discrimination on an almost weekly basis because of the way they dress. I mean, actually, everywhere I go, people always look and sort of stare and pass snide comments every now and then. I was walking inside my hostel last night, and I don't think that the washman who was there at the gate thought that I could speak Hindi. And so as I was walking inside, he tells the other watchman, "Oh, look at that boy, he's wearing his underwear and walking outside." And I'm like, I can understand Hindi, I don't understand Hindi. And he's like, ha ha ha. If you look at the street fashion, you'll barely find people wearing shorts. Everybody wears jeans and trousers. And the main sort of connection that people have with shorts is that they think that shorts are a very Western thing. So if you wear shorts, you can't be Indian, because if you were Indian, you would know the Indian tradition is to wear jeans when you go outside.
In JNU on campus, it's good. It's like I get a space to I got a space to explore my sexuality at first also here, and it gives me the space to be vocal about what I feel and what I want, and if I have to be public or if I have to be private. So here on campus it's good. I don't go outside campus much after the last year only, because also at the same time we like me and some of my friends had this mob lynching experience. So I I am in a in enclosed space. I don't want to go out much. There's always a fear inside. I think every woman, I think to every woman I have talked to, they have. I think in a year they have, I think, maybe more than 20 cases of molestation, teasing, or harassment, whom I have talked to, even including myself, these kind of cases. So every time, I won't say it happened, but every time I am not going with freedom. Like every time I go, I know someone is staring at me and objectifying me, and someone is thinking to rape me. Like the way they stare, you can just totally get it from their eyes. They beat us for 2 hours. They beat us with big sticks, wooden sticks, lathis, and they slapped me a lot. They tried to rape me and all. So yeah, these kind of things. And it's just not with me. At least I am being vocal about it. There are umpteen amount of women who get through much more violence more than me, and they're not vocal about it.
In campus where you can like be yourself, and people, even if they judge you, they won't like say it on your face, right? But like, as if you compare this with outside, there are like lots of abuses which happens, and even the violence which happens, but it's not that it doesn't happen in campus, but it's like slightly lesser than the outside it's quite scary, so I prefer not to go alone lots of times, but yeah, but I do, because you have to anyway, like every time you cannot be with people. I've had like, so once it happened, like I've never talked about it though, like it was a kind of physical violence in bus, yeah, but I responded because even I am very assertive, I can beat people. So yeah. JNU, I have had this one experience when there was this one film screening happened by these ABVP people. Okay, so we went there and we intend to stop it. We tried to stop it, and then this kind of a like scuffle happened. People were started beating other people who were trying to stop it. So then there was this one guy who slapped me and said Hijda. I mean, but it's also very ironic, like because these people also stand for Hijda community. Hijda is a trans woman community in India. So on their purchase, they will also say that we will work for this community, but like using it as an abuse. Yeah, when it comes to, so it was very low. So I too laughed that day, but yeah, that happened in campus. So it's like it's the campus is you can negotiate with people in campus, but outside though you cannot even negotiate.
I don't think my parents are cool with everything. They don't bother much, but it's a bit complicated. So, but I keep telling them that I won't marry, and if I'll ever marry, I'll marry a girl. So I indirectly try to tell them, but I don't know like what if they take it seriously or not. A girl and boys talking, then it's a problematic thing in my village. Yeah, it's just not about the homosexuality. It's about I mean, women are treated as an object, and they are enclosed within a space. And if they possess women, and if their possession is going somewhere, they don't like it, and they beat women and all those stuff. Extremely conservative. Their girls don't have freedom to wear the clothes of their choice. They can't even wear jeans properly, like the full covered jeans. They can't wear that.
Then they're shocked and surprised, and like my mom started crying. How can that be happen? And they like started blaming it on their like how they brought me up. So I don't live with them right now. I'm in hostel, so it's also provide me a space to negotiate with them on certain terms. But yes, there are problems, and family will be I would say like a problem in long term. So it was a like shock for them, and they still believe that it's a temporary phase which will go. They don't want me to see like this.
Okay.
So that's why and I also respect that, because it's not me who is going to get all these kind of like abuses, I would say, from people, right? Because I live in a space which is very safe space. The villagers, my neighbors are not going to call me and say shit, but they will obviously do that to my parents because they have to live with them. I come from a village, so I don't want like their lives into trouble, because so I'm just like whenever I visit home, I have like 2 pair of jeans and shirt just for them, like because you have to negotiate. Otherwise, like, yeah, it would be very, I don't know, very troublesome for both of us. In Delhi, I don't know people, first of all, so I don't care what they do, like however they react. But in my village, because they've seen me like since me, so there it is a problem, because they also consider it as their right to police me, to like to make me behave in a proper way. So they consider it their like rights, which is like problematic to an extent. So, and in that they can also beat you.
I've always been gay. I think everybody has always known that Rohan was gay. But because Rohan was gay, there was always a lot of clashing with the way the family thought. For example, what I wanted to do in the future. So I think there's always been a lot of conflict in my house, just in general. When and when I had to spill the beans, and when like my mom and dad, they found that I was gay, it was just a very weird, it was just an extremely weird situation. Because like they always knew that I was gay, but the way that I had to come out, because like I got into trouble with some men, the way that it came out, it wasn't a how dare, like, why are you gay? It was more of a, good lord, why the fuck does it have to be in this way gay? And I think because of the way that I came out, I think like my father was way too uncomfortable with it. You know, like he's like, okay, this can't be my son. What the fuck is happening? And I can't blame him altogether for it, because even though he was this headstrong and sort of like, no, I was just as sort of headstrong, and I'm like, fine, if he can't accept me for who I am, I will only be who I am. Like, I won't try to change at all. So yeah, so like I haven't spoken to my father since I was like 14 or something, like 14 or 13. But I'm super cool with my mother. Like, I speak to my mother every 2 days. With my mom, when I came out, she was very understanding, open, and she's always been very understanding. And the depenalization of Section 377 is obviously going to change things even faster now, and for the better. Gradually, people are coming out, and who knows, in about 2020, let's say, or rather 2023, when we have the next elections, by then, maybe this whole homosexual LGBT revolution will have gained so much momentum. We might even have gay marriage legalized in India.
It will take much time, because the change needs to come from inside also. So it's just a law. It's like we have to also think about those who don't have the privilege of privacy. When it happened, we were really happy, all of us, and I remember we were in the Pride March. Yeah, we were really happy at the time. I was dancing throughout the night and all these things. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I don't know. It's not all. There is much more freedom in the mind which need to happen. But for the timing, it was the moment of celebration for me. And I think people need to take it more personally. People need to look into themselves, seek themselves, whether they are gay, lesbian, or straight, or whatever their sexuality is. But they need to be more accepting towards each other. They need to be accepting towards love. They have to understand that they shouldn't take love as one form, the form of idea of production, which usually society teaches us, that if you can't produce, then you shouldn't love in that way. But love has no form. So people need to do love more and accept love more.
That was very important to get that law repealed, but there's a way forward. We have to work for that, because society has constructed in a way, even for me, if I would say, like till my 11th standard, I used to believe that something is problematic with me, like I am not the right person to be in this particular society. But yeah, so that social construction, I think, has happened in a very patriarchal, heteronormative way, which will take time to go, and laws are obviously not just the ends. So I think the movement will continue.
I was in Berlin, Amsterdam, Antwerp, the whole of Italy, Rome, Florence, France, London, and it's so lovely to see people just being themselves. Especially in London, I saw this a lot in London. There was a drag queen in the middle of the road singing, dancing, and people walking by. Like I'm giving her a little tip. It's such an open environment, and then you have the nightlife, which is excellent. I mean, who doesn't want to go to a gay bar, right? And then you have Berlin, and you have gay sex shops, stores, right outside your house. It's brilliant to be able to sort of just be this open and free about things. I have no idea when we might have, like a shop that sells dildos, like right in the middle of the street. I don't have a chip on my shoulder ever, but I always am aware that I'm wearing very short shorts. So people are always going to sort of look and be like, eh? And in Europe, nobody gives a fuck. People are doing their own thing and letting others do their own thing, which is what it is all about. Live and let live, right? Yeah. You obviously can't have sex clubs in India. I think in these sorts of clubs, you don't really have fucking going on, but you do have sort of sexy men and, like a shot or whatever. That's about all. But with that said, I think things are starting to change. I know that there's a couple of sex parties that happen, in India, but it's all very hush-hush, right? But Europe is Europe, right? The liberty you have there is such a precious thing. And I don't know if people over there take such a liberty for granted or not, but having but just having such a freedom to be who you are is excellent. Nous sommes les homosexuels, ils sont comme les insectes chez toi. Même si tu penses qu'il n'y a pas d'insectes dans la maison, il y en a. Donc c'est comme ça.
After exploring my sexuality, I have come across beautiful people. I don't know it's the people or it's the sexuality or it's what, but I feel happier and I feel lighter, and yeah, it's beautiful.